passionate about Cleveland sports.
He's going in, touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
Swing it right! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Watson.
Hello and welcome, Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. This podcast is a part of the Pulse Podcast Network. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson. And joining us today, Hayden Grove of Cleveland.com. We caught Hayden in between judging beer and heading to a Cavs game, and we've got a rundown that we want to go through with him to get the vibe of Cleveland with some of these things that Andy and I just can't really touch on because, well, I'm outside of Baltimore and Andy's up in Connecticut. So, Hayden, thanks for joining us, and I appreciate your time, man.
I promise you guys that I have the best life. I don't know how I don't deserve it, but I really do. I mean, you just said it. Going from judging beer to going to a Cavs game with my fellow classmate Brandon Knight. It's going to be a good night.
Well, enjoy yourself and drive safe. And again, thanks for joining us. And I guess the first thing we got to start out with, Hayden, is a lot of buzz around Cleveland in regard to this Kareem Hunt signing. I want your thoughts and reactions that you've been hearing in Cleveland from a fan's perspective. Is there the enthusiasm there? Is it tempered because of who Hunt is? Give me a little bit of what you know. And
So the Kareem Hunt issue has been one that's very polarizing here in Cleveland. A lot of fans are very anti and very pro. I don't think there's much of a middle ground, which is.
Are you parking?
No, we are. Sorry, I am parking. I'm paying right now. Yeah. Sorry, I'm literally going into the game right now while I'm recording the podcast. I'm trying to fit everybody into my schedule today. I think it's a very polarizing issue. It's one that a lot of fans are anti because again, it's awful what he did. The video is not of any moral high ground at all. It's a very, very reprehensible action by him. But at the same time, people think that he deserves a second chance. And people, think that because he's from Cleveland, because he's expressed remorse, because he's a great football player, that he deserves that second chance. So there's really no middle ground. I mean, and that's where I'm in a weird place because I am the middle ground. I really believe that, okay, it was a reprehensible action. It was awful. It was terrible. But also maybe he does deserve a second chance. And some people believe, well, he deserves a second chance, but just not in Cleveland because he's got all these family and friends here. And I think the opposite. If he's got family and friends here, they're going to hold him accountable. I think he's going to hold himself accountable, and I think this is the right place for him. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Yes, I firmly believe that he's in going to be in a good place when it comes to his ability to repair his image and to be a better human being. But I don't know if he really does deserve that chance. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle.
Right. And I think to follow up on that, the one thing I've been wondering, do you think this is dampered? There's a lot of enthusiasm, obviously, after Freddie Kitchens' announcement and Baker and the whole, even though they ended on a loss, there was a lot of enthusiasm going into 19. Has that enthusiasm been dampered a little bit? I felt like it has after Hunt. Whether you're for or against, I feel like this enthusiasm for the Browns has been dampered a little bit now.
You know what? That's a great point that, yes, I think that it's been dampered, but that's just right now.
Right.
Because there's nothing else going on. This is kind of a very difficult move to make for the Browns. But at the end of the day, when training camp comes around, do you really believe that this is going to be an issue that dampers the intensity of a training camp? I don't at all. I think everybody's going to be super pumped for training camp, for everything in between. I think you're going to be very excited about this. And yes, I'm firmly of the belief that while this may right now look like it's going to be something that dampens the mood, come training camp, come OTAs, Baker and the Browns and their ability to be a really good football team are going to far overshadow Kareem Hunt, especially because Kareem Hunt will talk before then. John Dorsey will talk before then. Freddie Kitchens will talk before then. It's going to be, today's February. It'll be 5 months before they hit the field. So I think they did it now because of that reason, because they wanted to get out ahead and let this thing linger for 5 months and just not let it happen in July when it becomes a real distraction.
And I think I'm in that same area as you are in how you're seeing this play out, Hayden, is where you want you want to balance this in your mind and hope that, I guess it's a wait and see type of situation. And also, I whether dampered is the word, or maybe a distraction from all the good, because at the end of the day, you can't deny that this isn't exactly a good look to start out with.
Well, guys, you are both Browns fans. I'm assuming you both have watched the Browns and been around the Browns. You knew it was too good to be true, right? Like, there has to be, even if they're winning games, there has to be some element of distraction, some element of something.
We've got it today with Jimmy Haslam pulling ads for his company from ESPN. I mean, that's the brand new one. We couldn't even go 3 days.
When the Browns win the Super Bowl, I think like the day after the world's going to end. I really do.
I do too. I agree.
2020 might be the last day on earth, because it just the Browns can never have it right, just completely right. And it's not their fault all the time, but it's true. So
no, I've mentioned too in the past, like whether it's Gordon, whether it's internal fighting between Haslam and Banner and Lombardi, whether it's behind Hugh Jackson and what we saw this past year, and then you got Johnny Manziel. There's always something going on. I will say to the Kareem Hunt, to kind of end on it, I read a Sally Jenkins article, and I thought she brought up a good point. We're saying, like, wherever you lie, you just hope. And I'm with this. I'm actually not for the Kareem Hunt move, but now that's happened, hey, I'm a Browns fan. I want Kareem Hunt to do well, and I hope he takes the second chance and runs with it. And that's what you kind of mentioned today in our article. I think that's what you have to look at. No matter where you fall in this thing, the Browns and Kareem Hunt have a chance now to really make this into a positive. Whatever's happened to him, and with all these other things too, he has a really big chance to make this into a positive. I like that. I think that's the way it should be looked at.
Absolutely. I think that's the only way it should be looked at. This team again, if he does the right things going forward, if he still continues to be a good football player and he decides to make sure that he is a model citizen as well, I think it only looks good for the Browns. So I agree that it has the potential to be a great move, but it also has the potential to be a disastrous move. So High risk, high reward, but I don't mind it either way.
So Hayden, I know you're kind of cramped for time and at the Cavs game now. Let me ask you this regarding Kevin Love. Let's switch over to this now. Kevin Love, and kind of what's been going on.
I'm walking for the security monitor, by the way, so I apologize.
You are a team player, Hayden.
I really appreciate it. I swear, man.
Player.
And I got to appreciate my guy giving me my keys and helping me out over here. So thank you.
That's amazing. That's really awesome. In regard to Kevin Love, in regard to some of these other guys that have dealt with injuries, I have this theory that I don't think that the Kevin Loves, that the Tristan Thompsons, that some of these guys are. I know that there's talk about trades, about what could possibly happen down the road. Hayden, to me, and tell me if I'm crazy for thinking this, the Cavs don't mind if these guys aren't playing. They don't want to win games, and this is all about starting the rebuild next season. We've already seen it with the buildup of draft picks. We don't want to lose the core guys that we still have. I just can't see them trading either Tristan Thompson or Kevin Love, especially because of the money involved. And on top of that, the Cavs, it makes sense that they're not playing right now. They don't want to win. Am I crazy to think that?
No, you're not crazy at all to think that. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, people were saying that Kevin Love should have been traded and, that Tristan Thompson should have been traded, but for what? For who? I mean, why? What is the deal? Like, this team is not trying to win games. Like, I know that Kevin Love maybe could have gotten to some quality players, but at the end of the day, I mean, this is a guy that maybe next offseason, when he proves that he's healthy, when he's played a little bit, can give you a little bit better of a trade offer. So, no, I don't. I think these guys are taking their time because, again, they do want a top 3 pick. They do want a top 3 pick. They need a top 3 pick. I mean, if they really want to turn this franchise around, a top 3 pick is absolutely necessary. So, of course, they don't want to win games right now. They're going to let guys take their time in coming back. Kevin Love, even Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight played the first half, didn't play the second half last game. I mean, these guys are going to take it very, very slow because there's no real need to force them to kind of push the envelope right now. So I'm totally with you guys in that, yes, this needs to be a situation where they take as much time as possible and just, get enough reps to make sure you're healthy and moving well and playing good basketball, but not overdoing it the way that you could do with other guys.
Right. Let me ask you, the two guys who are playing a lot, who I don't think are going anywhere, are Sexton and Chetty Osman. I've been one of the rare guys. I thought Colin Sexton's going to be good. I know at times he struggled, but he's been playing better lately. His point total's been up. And then Chetty's been out with an injury. What have you been noticing from those two guys? How do you think those two guys have been playing this year and the development's been throughout the year?
You got to give me the two names. I heard the last part of the question.
Colin Sexton and Chetty Osman. Those are two guys who are obviously part of the base. Yeah. So just give me what do you think of their development. I actually like Colin Sexton, by the way, Hayden. I think he's going to be good. I know he's struggling. I think he's really raw. I saw him play live at Alabama. I think he's going to be a good player down the road. I really do.
Absolutely. Hold on. I'm still saying hello to Richard Jefferson, who's back here with the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, it's this is the craziest thing I've ever done.
Well, I'm glad it's with us. I'm extremely appreciative.
Exactly. So, yeah, honestly, Colin Sexton is not – I'm not overly impressed with him.
Okay.
I don't think he's been the best that he could be. But, again, he's a rookie. He's 18 years old. I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill him at all for anything he's done. He's just got to learn to shoot. That's really it. I mean, this NBA that we're dealing with now in the 2019 season is just – it's a shooting league. You have to learn how to shoot. And you know what? I'd be wary of anybody who can't shoot the basketball. And Zion Williamson, yes, I'm wary of it. I really am. But again, maybe for a point guard, it's more important. So that's why Colin Sexton I'm kind of iffy on. And I think the other thing about Colin Sexton that I'm iffy on is the defense. I mean, there's a nerd. I know. I try not to make fun of nerds because they're much smarter than me and they know a lot more about life and sports and everything than I do. But there's a very nerdy stat out there that says Colin Sexton is the worst player in the NBA based on points for, points against. So, I mean, that is alarming to me. And I know he can get better, but that is not a good thing. So, Colin Sexton, it scares me. On the other hand, Chetty Osman really, really, really excites me. I think that guy, if he is shooting the ball well to begin with, he's good at attacking the rim. And also, he just knows how to play the game of basketball. I know that LeBron James, when he was here for last year, every time he got the chance, he would tell us, Chetty knows how to play. He knows how to play the game. He's played in Europe. He's played with these guys professionally who know how to play. I mean, there's a reason that Luka Doncic is making the game what it is today because he knows how to play. He's played against these professionals in Europe, even at their age. So I think Chetty is going to be a legitimate piece in this league. I think he just needs to continue to play and he needs to avoid that injury bug, which is much, much easier said than done.
Well, we definitely have noticed all the minutes that Chetty has been getting since the beginning of the season. It didn't start out that well for him throughout the beginning of the season. His numbers just did not look good compared to the minutes he was playing, but that has changed over time. I want to ask you one question, though, regarding J.R. Smith. Does he ever play again, and if so, where?
Man, it's sad. I don't think he does because I think the money's too much. He sat out pretty much an entire year this year, and he hasn't played well in 2 years. I mean, it really is sad because the last thing he's going to be known for is that gap at the end of game one. And I don't think that's fair to him. I really think his image has repaired in his time in Cleveland. He really proved himself to be a family guy, a team guy when he was here in Cleveland. He didn't get in any trouble. So it really is unfortunate that I don't think that J.R. Smith is going to play again because I think he deserves an opportunity to play again here in Cleveland. But, it just doesn't make sense for any team to really sign him right now. I mean, the only time it made sense was the trade deadline, but nobody wants to pay that contract. I mean, congrats to LeBron for getting in that contract, and congrats to JR for getting that contract, but it's what cost him playing time. It cost him the rest of his career. So enjoy the money, enjoy the time of your family. He's had a really tough family life thus far with his children, with his premature daughter. Yeah. Enjoy your time with them. He's got a really beautiful family, and I really hope that he has a beautiful retirement because I don't think this is the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think JR, I think what you said is exactly what I've been thinking. One more question about the Cavs. What do you think about Clarkson? I've been impressed by him. I think he's a good player coming off the bench. I think he's had a good year.
You've been yeah, I mean, he's an impressive offensive player. Defensively, he doesn't give you a lot, but nobody really gives you a lot anymore on defense. So, yeah, I like Jordan Clarkson. The only problem with Jordan Clarkson is that he can't really do anything but shoot. He can't dribble the ball very well at all. He doesn't give you much off the ball. He's just all you got to do is pass the ball, give him a couple dribbles, and let him fire it up. And that's the good thing about him. He can get to the rack, he can shoot it, he can get you offense. So that's very, very important.
Let me ask you this. I've heard this from a lot of people, and I've seen the defensive metrics, and they're obviously really poor. I mean, you watch it on a day-to-night basis. I mean, I've been watching it, but not as much as, I'll be truthful, as the season's gone on. How bad is the Cavs defense? I mean, the metrics are scary. Is it really as bad as it seems when we're watching on television or seeing the metrics?
No, I disagree. I think everybody's defense in the NBA is bad. I mean,
right.
Honest to God, I think LeBron James is the greatest player to ever play this game. I really, really do. But I saw him get blown by Trae Young last night. I've seen him get blown by multiple
right.
players over the last couple of weeks. They don't care. They don't care about defense anymore. LeBron can't care about defense anymore because he doesn't have the body type to. He doesn't have that tenacity to anymore. Offense is so much more important than defense in today's game. He has to devote all of his energy to that. So LeBron is done playing defense. There are a lot of guys that are done playing defense. It's not as important as it once was. Now, where it might be important more so is like in the extremes. Like your big men need to play defense, or your point guards need to play defense, because those are the guys who are going to score. Those are the stretch fives, or the stretch fours, or even the 1 or 2 guards. I mean, those are the guys that are going to score the most. I mean, there's the days of the small forward scoring. I mean, unless I'm missing anybody, the biggest scorers in today's game, you look at your Steph Currys, you look at your James Hardens, you look at your, maybe Giannis is more, I think Giannis is more of a stretch four anyway. I think,
right.
I'm trying to think of another one. Give me another good scorer. I mean, they're all either small or big. There's nobody really in between. There's not a LeBron type anymore. So those are the guys that need to learn how to play defense, because those are the guys who play offense. So LeBron is in a position, and those middle tier guys don't really play as much defense as they used to, and really nobody does. So I can't even put that on LeBron.
Well, there you go, and I think you're right. I think the defense it's just lax. Unless it's the fourth quarter, you really don't see people playing defense in the NBA. Does Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, how many games do they play next year for the Cavs? Do you think they make it through most of the summer into the fall, or do you think they're gone even before training camp, or do you think actually it's a bunch of smoke and Love and Tristan will be here most of the year next year? Because from everything I'm reading, that sounds like Tristan. Terrific question. Tristan, I think, has the blue flu right now. Like he doesn't want to play because he's sad. I think he's like healthy enough. Really? I mean, maybe I don't want to. I mean, that's just my speculation from what I've heard from others. But I mean, if this is a playoff situation, I think Tristan would be playing. If this is a crucial stretch of the season, I think Tristan would be playing. I don't blame him for not playing. So again, I don't know. Tristan's got 1 more year left. Kevin Love's obviously got 3 or 2.5 or 2 with an option or something. Right. So that's pretty. It's a very, very, very interesting situation. I could totally see both guys getting traded. I can see both guys staying. It's just a matter of maybe who the Cavaliers are able to get in the draft, where they're able to do salary-wise, and what kind of packages they're able to get. I mean, Kevin Love gets healthy, plays very, very well the rest of the year. Maybe you can get a big offer for him. But right.
If not, maybe then they just keep him and pay him, because honestly, even with Zion Williamson or somebody like that, I don't see the Cavaliers being a legit title contender for the next 3-4 years.
Not a chance, Hayden, especially because who is going to be the leader? I'm thinking more about leadership on that team, and you can load them up with a bunch of young guys, but that's still going to take time to develop.
I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking more so like Philadelphia is really damn good. Boston is really damn good. Toronto's really damn good, and they're getting better. Milwaukee is really damn good. They're going to get better, and the Cavaliers are still in a position where they're trying to get good. Yeah. So those teams are really good already. They're going to get better, and they might be, contending for the next 3 years. So I don't think the Cavaliers are going to be in position to do that.
Well, this is enough of this depressing talk about the Cavs. I don't want to do it anymore. This was the longest we talked about the Cavs on any of our podcasts in the past couple of weeks. I'm done with it. Thank you for all of that information, Hayden. Let me ask real quick, though, on a team that has disappointed me more in the offseason this year than I expected. The Indians are coming into this season with an injured Lindor and wondering about certain holes, whether it be at bat, whether it be in their outfield, or whether it be tooling their bullpen, or the middle infield now at this point, because we're worried about that. What are we looking at? What are your early thoughts on the Indians, Hayden?
Well, they still have the best pitching staff in the American League, maybe the American League Central. So I really think that they're going to be a little bit better than everybody expects. Of course, their offense has issues. Of course, it's not going to be the best offense we've seen in Cleveland. You lose a lot of outfield talent. But, man, that pitching staff is going to be good still. I think you're going to see big leaps from Bieber, from Clevenger, even Trevor Bauer, who I have had my battles with, not personally or professionally or anything like that. But, I mean, it's just I battle with the way that he handles everything. I battle with the way that he handles life. So I think their pitching staff is going to be good. I think they maybe add a couple bullpen pieces before the deadline, maybe a real piece before the deadline, an offensive piece. And I still think they're going to win the AL Central regardless. So come playoff time, anything can happen. Well, I mean, people are down the Indians because they're not willing to spend money. But come playoff time, anything can happen. Really.
Is a part of that?
We've seen wild card teams make World Series. We've seen wild card teams win World Series. So I can totally see the Indians being fine.
Is a part of that that the Indians are gonna force these younger kids? I mean, there's guys on that team that we as fans don't really have the insight on. That maybe they know better on some of these names that we don't really have on our minds right now, that are going to pick up slack and be expected to play more ball this year too.
Well, what I find funny, and maybe people will kill me for this, what I find funny is that people are so willing to trust John Dorsey after what was it, like one season, 1.5 seasons, and Chris Antonetti's been putting up and Chris Antonetti's been putting a winning product on the field for 3, 4, 5 years right now, and people still don't trust him. So, I mean, maybe it's not Antonetti, maybe it's the Dolans unwilling to spend money, and that's fine. That's one thing, but I still trust him. I trust Chris Antonetti to know that the guys that he's picking up are, maybe, as we've seen in the past, maybe they're kind of diamonds in the rough type guys, maybe guys lightning in the bottle types. We've seen Scott Kazmir turn into that. We've seen many others that were low risk, high reward signings, and we've seen them pay off. Mike Napoli, a huge one. Rajai Davis, another one. Mm-hmm. So maybe we see a couple of those guys this year, and maybe this team again ends up having some guy that they didn't think was going to produce ends up producing.
Yep, you got the Joyces of the world this year. I mean, hopefully one of those guys, to your point. And the Indians always do a nice job picking up middle-of-the-road trades in the season. I think they'll do that here. I'll give you my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. Does Bauer and Kluber make it through the year without getting traded? I say they stay on the Indians the whole year now. I don't see them getting traded till the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't see Bauer getting traded for sure. And Kluber, honestly, I think this is the year that Bauer's to play Kluber. I do. I think Bauer is going to be their number one. I
agree.
Maybe not in the rotation, but maybe just in terms of numbers. I think he's going to be their number one this year.
You can feel it. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Right. And because Trevor is just on an upward trajectory, and I wouldn't trade Trevor. I would not. I would not trade Trevor unless you're really struggling going into the deadline and you feel like you can get a huge deal for him and get a really, really nice, assortment of players and picks or whatever. I would not, because I think, again, maybe Trevor gets traded going into next year or something, but this season I would let him pitch. I think he could definitely be a Cy Young caliber pitcher, and maybe he becomes the 4th or 5th Cy Young caliber pitcher for the Indians in the last 10, 15 years. So good for him and good for them.
Yep.
Hayden Grove, Cleveland.com. Hayden, enjoy the Cavs game. Thank you so much for this entertaining interview.
A behind-the-scenes look at Hayden and living the life of Hayden. That was cool.
Much appreciated, and we'll talk again soon, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Maybe in the next podcast we do, it'll be a little more quiet, a little less rambunctious. I can actually kind of get my thoughts together a little bit.
I think you sounded fine. You'll get a chance to hear it soon, brother. Enjoy the game.
Right.
Take care.
Thank you very much. I'll tell Richard Jefferson you say hello.
Tell him. Andy, I don't know if you noticed this, but during that interview with Hayden, I felt awful because it sounded like every time you went to ask a question, once he walked into the queue, the damn PA announcer was talking at the same time. I was worried Hayden wasn't even going to hear your questions. Clearly he did, but I just feel like that's the luck of the draw for when you asked him anything tonight.
Well, I think, I don't know if people know this, but when I'm out in public, I will have birds chirping, cars will honk. So that is that's respect. See, I'm getting respect. That's not rude. That's just the power of belief land there. I mean, so look, it's tough being so cool to get honked out like that. And speaking of cool, go to Thrive Fantasy to do some prop bets, right? So go to our Twitter handle at Cleveland and Beyond. There's a link on there. You click on the link, you sign up through there. This weekend, like I did last, I'm going to do some basketball write-ups. For people who didn't see, there's a fantastic Duke-Louisville game where Louisville was up 23 and Duke came back and won. Something happened in the Purdue-Maryland game. I don't really remember. I'll talk about all that and more. Michigan lost to Penn State. I definitely remember that. So, I'll go through all my thoughts for the basketball week leading up into the weekend. And like I did last time, I'll pick some lines, pick some Thrive, go to Thrive Fantasy on our Twitter account at Cleveland and Beyond. We also have a new partner that's called Tix Biz, and we'll get into them soon. And more importantly, we're on the Pulse Podcast Network. And yeah, it was fun having Hayden on today. The key things real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. And we're going to go back.
Yeah, I know that you've got some differing opinions on a few things that we're going to talk about at some point.
And we're going to bring him up again. I'm going to talk to him. I do not agree about the Colin Sexton thing at all. I think Colin's going to be a great star, and people need to remember to be patient with that. And I will dig in with Hayden the next time he's not in the arena with Richard Jefferson. But we will do that the next time we're on with him. The other things, though, we're pretty much going through everything. But I think the key thing to remember here now is, I did my soapbox moment there about Kareem Hunt, and I really meant it. I meant what I was saying there. But it is time. I am a big believer in moving on. And now that Kareem's on the team, I really do hope he does well in society and does well on the field. When you got to move on, you got to move forward. I don't agree with the move. I never will. But again, I'm a move forward guy. So you got to move forward with this. I think the other thing that came up that we touched upon, I won't relive the Cavs stuff because you can listen to that back. But, the big thing is, too, with the Indians typically don't make big trades with their in-house or talent when it comes to pitching and big stars. I do think it's going to be something to watch with Kluber. It's going to be interesting to see if Kluber makes it throughout the whole season. I don't think he will be traded, Jared, but I think it's something we're going to have to watch because I think it's something that can happen. Again, the Indians don't typically do that. I think this year it could be different.
Well, I can see that happening. I know my own biases tell them not to do that. I'm going to...
Well, that's different. I don't want them to do it either, but I'll be truthful. I think that's in play this year. I really do.
Well, we do know that we're definitely in a time where the mixing it up it's that time again for this squad, I think.
No question. And they're definitely going through the change. So our next podcast will be on Sunday or Monday. It'll be probably posted sometime around then. Check out again our blog for all that. And I just want to say quickly, I'm sure, Jared, you can echo, thank you to all of our likes and all of our listeners this week. We really appreciate everybody listening to the podcast. We got a lot of love this week, and we thank every single one of you for taking the time to listen. It means a lot. And we've been doing a lot and turning a lot out. And to get the feedback Jared and I have been getting over the last 48 hours has been great. So thank you to all that. It means a lot. And like I said, we'll go off on the weekend doing a little bit more Cavs, a little bit more Indians, and I'll do my college basketball thing. And, leading into the bounds of February. And by the way, people who should mark this on their calendar, it's NBA All-Star Weekend. So after the game here with the Cavs and Nets, I believe the Cavs go on a hiatus. Usually they do. So no more NBA throughout the weekend too. So it's really, Jared, I guess is the way I'll wrap it up. It's the last weekend right before stuff gets busy because March is almost upon us.
I was going to say it's going to be quiet the rest of the week for the Browns, right?
Oh, Jared, we're going to save all that for later, whether it's flying pile of J ads in my old company and everything else. I'm going to save all that for Sunday, Monday kind of stuff there. But yeah, it should be quiet. Nothing should happen. Yeah, I think we should also save our thoughts for the Flacco trade and everything else. We'll save that. So.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to get into all of that. I did post, don't forget, make your vote on my latest Twitter post in regard to that Flacco trade that I think is going to work out in the Browns' favor. Not that Flacco was the issue there, but it's the fact that Lamar is solidly the guy in Baltimore, and that's just not something that's going to work out, I don't think. But what do I know? Again, our Twitter handle @CLE and beyond. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and beyond. Email us, andyandjared@gmail.com. You can also head over to the website where you can listen to every podcast and follow the blog with all of Andy's Thrive Fantasy picks coming up. You'll be able to check all of that out. That is at clevelandandbeyond.net or andyandjared.com. My name is spelled Jarid, by the way. I never tell anybody that, so most of you are probably better off going to clevelandandbeyond.net because you're never going to get to the Andy and Jared because you're never going to remember that my name is spelled abnormally. Blame my parents. It's their fault. Andy, any last words? We already covered it all, right?
We covered it all. All those things, good things we'll say for the podcast. Flacco, Lamar Jackson, pulling ads off ESPN.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with the Tribe. Early chatter with the Tribe. There's been a lot of write-ups. Buster Only did a big article on the Indians already. We'll get into all that. I think we're going to start really digging into the Indians.
There's a lot more positivity around the team than I expected right now, too, despite everything that fans have been griping about. No?
Yeah, I agree. But Buster, I got to read the article again, but Buster kind of had more of a neutral tone.
Okay.
Like, hey, great pitching,
yep.
But are they serious with this outfield?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens. We'll get into that next. I don't want to get into that now, but right. Well, to get into all that, and then you know what we should? Okay, last thought. We should do a Cavs reset at the NBA All-Star break.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, we should do a Cavs reset at that time too. By the way, one last thing.
He's lying every time he says one last thing, by the way.
I know. I'm the worst on the phone.
That's all right.
Because I can't get off the phone either. So anybody talks to me, I don't do good closes. I don't do good goodbyes. I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Hence why I'm on a podcast. This is perfect. It was interesting what Hayden said about Tristan Thompson. It was really interesting what he said about Tristan Thompson.
In what way, Andy?
Sounds like Tristan Thompson's checked out a little bit.
That's not going to help him on his on the next move, which is so strange. But I guess I can say it would be exhausting to be a part of that team right now.
We're going to talk more about that, but I thought that was I thought that was almost like good insider information there.
Yeah,
that was a good little.
I thought the JR stuff was spot on too.
JR, yeah. Yep. But that Tristan note was new. That was interesting.
I guess the only reason I care about that, though, was because my heart's a little more, tied up with JR. Is.
Yeah. Right. We'll get into that more. I do agree with Hayden all the way, by the way.
Yep.
Everything he said about JR, I do agree with. But I thought the Tristan thing was interesting. Sounds like Tristan's healthy, but just not playing.
He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. This is Andy and Jared, Cleveland and Beyond, a part of the Pulse Podcast Network. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you again soon. Take care.
I have one more thing. Just joking.
Perfect.
I thought you would like that.